Finney, the man who runs the MEDC as its president and CEO, on with us. And now the MEDC has made a decision and decided not to use the Pure Michigan logo in advertisement that includes the new right to work law. And Michael Finney is on the other end of our line to talk about it. Good morning.
Good morning, Frank. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. I should probably correct one thing that you just said. We really have not made a decision not to use the Pure Michigan logo as a part of our messaging around, the business marketing that we've been doing.
Really? I'm reading the story right from the Detroit News. Michigan's Economic Development Agency has halted the use of the Pure Michigan logo in advertisements promoting the new right to work law, officials said Thursday.
Yeah, so I'm not totally sure where that messaging came from. But just to be clear, what we committed to do, and we had a good talk about this the last time I was on, was that we were receiving a lot of feedback, both supportive and opposed to using Pure Michigan as a part of that advertising campaign. And we committed to really take some time and be thoughtful with respect to whether it was appropriate to use it or not. And we are still synthesizing all the feedback that we've gotten and have not made a commitment one way or the other just yet. The Pure Michigan brand is very powerful for both business and tourism, and we want to make sure that, in fact, we have made a decision as a part of our business advertising that we'll continue to use Pure Michigan. It's just a question of whether we use it in the actual advertising promos that we do centered around right to work from a business perspective. So we're still in that decision-making process. We're still reviewing all the feedback that we've gotten, and we have several discussions that we still need to have before we make a firm decision one way or the other.
Have you put it on hold for now? I mean, is there a pause right now in using it until you come to a final decision on the long-term use of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair statement that we made a decision based on all we got a lot of feedback. I mean, there's an awful lot of pride in the Pure Michigan brand from Michiganders, and we heard both sides of it. We heard from the business community loud and clear. We've heard from our tourism industry loud and clear. And then we've heard from businesses and corporate site selection folks that we work with on an ongoing basis loud and clear. And the feedback has been from both sides, as you can well imagine, because it is an issue where it clearly has two different views. And what we're trying to do, as I indicated earlier, is just be thoughtful about how best to reach the target audiences we're going after. And we just haven't made that decision yet.
Do you consider the right to work legislation a benefit to the state of Michigan?
Well, as I indicated, we think that it has the potential to be very positive for the state of Michigan because when we talk with the corporate site location community in particular, they tell us that the state of Michigan misses out on about 50% of the opportunities that their clients see. In other words, they're working with clients who have specifically said they would only consider locations that are right to work. And in 50% of the cases, that excludes Michigan. And so based on the feedback that we're getting from one of our primary clients that we work with, the site locators, we think that there is definitely upside for Michigan. Now, it's still early, so we don't have facts yet. But the feedback that we've gotten from that constituent group that we target has been very positive.
Well, see, the reason I ask that is I would think that if you look, it's passed now, and if you consider that a benefit and something that's attractive to bring business here, I just fail to see personally the problem in using that any more than you would to emphasize the trees and the lakes and everything else we have as assets here in our state.
Right, and I think your view, Frank, is just like all the other ones that we've gotten. There's folks who will speak to the other side of the issue as well, particularly as it relates to Pure Michigan. The question of us telling the story of Michigan being a right-to-work state is not something that we're shy about. We're telling that story. We're telling it in a number of ways. Marketing is not just about advertising. It's through our website. It's through our social media. It's face-to-face contact. I'm going to be in Dallas next week meeting with a group of corporate site selectors, and this will be a big topic of discussion because they want to know where it's at and the timing and so many other issues related to it. So we're still telling Michigan's entire story, and it really is about whether it's associated with Pure Michigan. That has been the central debate that we're wrestling with.
All right. Final comment from you. Gretchen Whitmer, the Senate Minority Leader, said yesterday after she received this news about, we'll call it a what do you call it, a sort of a pause in the use of right to work in the advertisement? That the right way to put it? She said, I worry about the damage that's been done to the brand, but I'm glad they've recognized the error of their ways. Have you made an error in your ways?
Yeah, Frank, I can only tell you that what we're doing, I'm not here to opine on the feedback that you're getting from other elected officials. I just think that's not my lane.
All right, fair enough. Mike Finney, appreciate the time. You have a great weekend, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And how soon before you make a final decision on whether you'll resume using right to work in Pure Michigan together?
We haven't determined that yet, Frank.
Rough idea?
We just really haven't determined it yet.
All right. Have a good weekend. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Mike Finney, the President, CEO of MEDC.